Caleb, as Owen just said. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to you all tonight. I've been wanting to do this for so long, and I'm going to be talking about something that I really care about a whole lot, and I'm really excited. So, over the past semester, we've gotten to learn about the life of Jesus Christ, all the way from his birth to his death, and then to his resurrection. And now at the end, we're faced with either a choice to either say yes, and we're super excited, and this is something that's for us, or we can say no, this just isn't for me right now. But tonight, I just want to share with you how I've personally chosen to live, and my story of how I said yes. So, throughout elementary and middle school, I was always really just the quiet, weird, lonely kid. I never really had that many friends. I didn't talk a whole lot. Usually I would sit by myself at lunch, or I don't know, find some other way to entertain myself. So, and this really, that's what's funny. And this really took a toll on my confidence. I never really believed much that I could do much of anything. I didn't get a lot of love or support from my peers, so I just didn't have much faith in myself. I didn't think I could accomplish much, and that attitude just became how I lived. It really worked its way into my life. And as I got older, I just became more and more of an introvert. I started just becoming a lot more reclusive. I spent a lot more time on my own. And I had some friends. I did form some relationships, but they were all really superficial. None of them ever panned out that well, probably because I was catering my personality to fit whoever I was talking to, so they would like me. So all these relationships were really fake, and I also just had really bad anxiety from just not believing that I could ever do much. It just made me super nervous. Everything, like the smallest tasks, would just really get to me, and I just couldn't handle it. And sometimes I would just wonder to myself, would anybody ever even care that much or even notice if I were to die? Also, on top of that, I kind of believe that maybe they wouldn't. And also, I moved around a lot. I never really did live in the same place for too long. It seemed like every couple of years I would get up and move. And when I was 14, I moved to Massanutten, where I live now, and this is my second move in the last 2 years. And I was really sad about this. I was really sulky my first 2 weeks. I didn't really make much of an effort to talk to anybody, and I just felt sorry for myself. I did everything alone. But I did have one friend at the beginning, and his name was Ian Buchanan, and we ran cross country together. And I would always just look forward to hanging out with him so much at the end of every day, because he was one of the only people that I ever met in school who just really seemed to genuinely care for me, to really care about what was going on in my life. He would ask me questions about myself. He would ask how I was doing. He would invite me to most everything he did, which just made no sense at all, because he was just this really cool upperclassman guy, and I was just this little quiet, weird freshman kid. He had a girlfriend, had all these friends, and I was just like, me. Just kidding. So, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense, and we ended up hanging out a lot and becoming good friends. And one day, in the beginning of the first semester of school, he invited me to come to this thing called Young Life. And I didn't really want to go for Young Life. I kind of expected to be like the church youth groups that I would go to in middle school, where you would go to someone's house, and you'd sit on their carpet, and you would listen to someone's 45-year-old dad talk, and eat goldfish out of like a paper cup or something. So I was just going to hang out with Ian and all of his upperclassmen friends. I just wanted to go have a good time with them. And also, I had always grown up in church. I guess I considered myself a Christian, but God always seemed like just a really abstract concept to me. It didn't seem like something concrete that I could actually bring into my life. But anyway, the first time I went to club, it was the most amazing experience I had ever had. I just felt so welcome. Everyone was a lot like Ian. They were just so warm and receptive and so excited to see me. And they were just so nice. And so I enjoyed it a lot, and I ended up going back. I don't think I missed a single club the whole entire first semester of my freshman year. And then I actually paid attention at all of the club talks, and I really felt as though I was getting a lot out of it. And I began to go to campaigners, and I had a good time with that too, and I felt like I was learning a lot. And at the end of my first semester of my freshman year, I decided to say yes and to accept Jesus into my life. And guys, it's been the best decision that I've ever made in my whole entire life. I feel like now I'm really living with a purpose. I feel like I'm actually doing something meaningful with my life, and the relationships that I have just in and out of school are so much more meaningful. I feel like it's much more of a give and take instead of me trying to take. And it definitely, I don't use people as means just to boost my confidence anymore. Because I know that God has made me the way I am for a reason, and that every trait that I possess is for a reason. And I just find hope in knowing that I'm on the path that I am on, and everything that happens to me is happening because that's the way that He wants it to happen, and that He has a plan. Not to say that I don't have some of the same problems that I used to. I truly believe that they are to a much lesser extent, but not all my problems are gone. My life isn't totally perfect, but that's not how it's supposed to be. But I don't worry about any of that anymore nearly as much as I used to, because I know that everything is in God's hands. The direction I go in is in His hands and His only. And I just find real hope and joy in knowing that. So yeah, this relationship has just changed my life in every way possible. And you guys are really lucky, because now a lot of you right now in this room are in the exact same position that I was in at the end of my freshman year. Jesus calls us into a relationship, and this relationship demands a response of either a yes or a no. And guys, for me, it's just been the biggest adventure. And it's just so freeing to know that this relationship is not about being perfect. It's not just a big set of rules. It's about knowing that the Lord is with you, and He's going to do everything, and it's going to all work out, and He's going to walk you through your life. And all you have to do is just strive to be more and more like Christ every single day, and just pursue Him with hope of inheriting His kingdom one day. So like I said, the relationship, it doesn't have to be a big set of rules. It's absolutely fine to mess up. And it's kind of like when your parents are first teaching you how to ride a bike. You know, when you start a relationship with God, your parents aren't going to get upset at you and yell at you when you fall off your bike when you're first learning. If you fall, which you are going to fall a lot, they're going to pick you up, and they're going to help you get started again and say, hey, that's okay, let's keep trying. And guys, Jesus is the exact same way, and that's a thing called grace. Whenever we make mistakes, He forgives us every time for what we do. And this is something that we don't deserve. We don't deserve any sort of forgiveness. We deserve to die and spend eternity away from Christ for the sins that we've committed. And this applies to your life before and after meeting Jesus. He just wants you to come back to Him no matter what. He doesn't care what you've done. It doesn't matter at all to Him. And He's just here to fix the broken people. He's not here to make the seemingly perfect people just look more perfect. He's here for the people who actually really need Him. And everybody needs Him a lot. And guys, we're all the same degree of broken without God. Everybody has the same amount of brokenness in their lives without Him, to the same degree and extent. And He just wants us to come home. That's all He wants. It doesn't matter to Him what you've done. And my favorite illustration of grace in the whole entire Bible comes from my favorite passage in the whole Bible. It's just such a straightforward, simple illustration of the grace that God has for us. And it's from Luke chapter 23, verses 39 through 43. Just to give you guys a little context, this is from the part in the Bible where Jesus is hanging on the cross, and there are two criminals on each side of Him. And just His conversation with Him, I just really love it, and I would love for you guys to hear it too. So, here it is. One of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at Him. "Aren't you the Christ? Save yourself and us." But the other criminal rebuked Him. "Don't you fear God," he said, "since you are under the same sentence? We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then He said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus answered him, "I tell you the truth. Today you will be with me in paradise." Wow. Guys, it's just so simple and straightforward and easy to accept this grace and to gain it. All this criminal had to do was just acknowledge that he believed that Jesus was the Son of God and that he was sent on to earth to save us from sin. And guys, he was a criminal. He was probably just seen by everybody as this awful, unredeemable person. He had probably done much more wrong than anybody in this whole entire room ever has, or probably more wrong than anybody that you even know has ever done. And it really is just as simple as what he did to gain this grace and to gain this relationship. You don't have to be afraid that Jesus is going to scold you. You don't have to be afraid that he's not going to want to be with you. He does. That's all he wants. It doesn't matter who you are. So now it comes time to make a decision. And that decision is either yes, I may not feel like I know everything quite yet, but I'm really excited about this. I'm all in. I'm ready. And then there's no, maybe you just don't feel like this is for you right now. Maybe you're thinking like, God, this is cool and all, but I just don't think this is for me. And that's also totally fine. God will be just as open to a relationship with you as he ever has. And we'd also just love to see you keep coming back anyway, and get to know you a little better. But you just can't change the fact that he wants to be in a relationship with you regardless of your answer. If you have liked what you've heard this semester, if you want to start this relationship with God, please, 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 just come up to either myself or one of the leaders here or one of the campaigners. We would be overjoyed to talk to you about it. So that's about all I have to say, guys. Thank you so very much for allowing me to come take up a little bit of your time and speak tonight. I'm going to pray us out, and then East Rock is going to Burger King? McDonald's. And Spotswood's going to be going to Cookout.
We have to go to Burger King.
So,
Burger King.
Okay, Burger King. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to pray us out, and then we're going to go ahead and leave. Dear God, thank you for all these friends that are here tonight. Thank you for our leaders, and thank you for this awesome semester that we could all just come here and learn more about you, God. And thank you so much for sending your son to die for our sins. We really appreciate it a lot, and thank you for just everything you've given us this year, Lord. And I just pray that we can all have safe travels to Burger King and just have a great rest of our night. Amen. Thanks a lot, guys.